Good morning, St. John's folks. Father Art here for the 838 message. Hope you're doing well. We had a great Sunday yesterday. Um, it with Heartbeat playing, and it was just a great day to see a whole lot of folks. Um, we're in the middle of Easter season, and we're kind of in a quiet time right now between what we've been doing leading up to Easter and then before our summer programming. Our staff are meeting this Wednesday to finalize our final summer plans, and we're going to be rolling that out shortly. But it will have a lot of things to do to help us all grow spiritually, to get outside and enjoy our Minnesota summer. So look for that soon. This week we have a few things happening. One thing I want to mention is that our Wilderness Wednesday programming, which has for the whole program year has incorporated some programming and a dinner starting at 5:30. We are putting that on hiatus until the fall. And so the dinner portion and the programming part. Having said that, two things continue on Wednesday night. The first is the Transformed by the Word Adult Bible Study, continues at 6:15 p.m. And the Chancel Choir will continue to rehearse for a couple more weeks, I think, at 7:15 p.m. So that's on Wednesday of this week. And on Saturday, we have a big Saturday planned. Three things happening. The first is that the cemetery cleanup. We have an annual spring cleanup of our historic cemetery, and that is the first Saturday in May, which is coming up this Saturday, and we'll begin around 8 o'clock a.m. So feel free to join us. There'll be donuts and coffee and hopefully no rain, so that we can sweep up leaves and pick up branches and do a little bit of the cleanup that makes our cemetery so beautiful. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that at 7:30 a.m., folks will gather in the parking lot for our first Saturday service. And if you've been following closely, the first Saturday of each month, we go and do a service project. This is headed up by Maggie Howe, who is our Rising Generations minister. And so this Saturday, we're going to Good Courage Farm down in Hutchinson. We'll meet at 7:30 in the parking lot and travel down there and spend a day doing whatever they have in store for us. It could be weeding, it could be picking up all sorts of things that go on the farm that need to be done, and they rely on volunteer support. Good Courage Farm is a neat ministry in the ECMN in the Diocese of Minnesota, and so we want to continue to support that ministry. So that is leaving from the parking lot at 7:30 a.m. There are two options to return. One option, there's an early, some folks are arriving a little bit earlier, and then others later. So 3 o'clock is the return date for the first group, and 5 o'clock is the return date for the second group. So that is the second thing that's going on. The third thing that's going on Saturday is a women's retreat led by our own Kate Maxwell. It begins at 9 a.m. at the church. It's a one-day retreat this year, and I think it goes about 9 to 5, something like that. You still may sign up for that, so contact Kate directly if you would like to join the women. I think there may be like 15 or so women who have already signed up for that. So hopefully that's something that you might consider doing. So contact Kate if you'd like to do that. 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. I also want to mention that on Friday, this coming Friday, there is a funeral for Alice McLaren. Alice was a parishioner at St. John's. Andrew, her son, continues to be just core to our ministry at St. John's. and has served in so many capacities at the church. Anyway, Alice's funeral, Alice died this past Thursday, and her funeral is coming up on Friday. So then there's a 9 o'clock visitation, 10 o'clock funeral, and 11 o'clock there'll be a reception in the parish hall. So hopefully we can get a lot of folks to come out and support Andrew and his family in their time of grief as we remember Alice and her life among us. The last thing I'm going to say is that spring is upon us. We're almost into May, and a lot of us are spending time sort of cleaning out garages and closets and thinking about all the things in our lives that we do not need anymore. Simplicity seems to be the name of the game, and it always has been. Actually, many of the great spiritual masters have instructed us, counseled us to try to live simple lives. And it's hard in this consumerist first world life and culture that we live in to do that. Things just sort of glom onto our lives. At least it does for me, and probably for you too. So springtime's a great time to think about decluttering. It can actually be a spiritual experience and spiritual discipline to get rid of those things in our lives that's just sort of glomming up the works. And my hunch is that the more we all go about that work of decluttering in our lives, the more space there will be for love, for loving others, for loving God, and for recognizing God's love in our own lives. So I encourage you, if you don't already have plans to do some intentionally decluttering, to do that. We do have a rummage sale that's coming up in the fall, and you can save your stuff. Maybe there's a special place at your house where you can store up stuff you want to give to the rummage sale. We don't want it at the church until a couple weeks before the rummage sale, but we would encourage you, if you have good stuff, that's always helpful to us to sell that, and that contributes to funding for our ministry. So anyway, the important part is just to go about that work of decluttering, and so that we're freed up to hear God's voice calling our names and to respond with lives of generosity. So hope you have a great week. If you need anything, give us a call. We have a new phone system at the church. We've had such difficult problems with our phones lately, with phone lines that just have not been reliable. So we, under the leadership of Carrie Thomas and Will McBride, we totally revamped our phone system so you can actually get a hold of us now. So please feel free to call the church if you need anything at all, or stop by. We're usually there Monday through Thursday, and Sunday, of course, and we'd love to see you. So anyway, have a great week. Embrace Minnesota spring, and we'll see you.